Hey there, comic book friends and fiends. It's Rob here in front of the Great Wall of Comics. The other weekend was Oakland Comic Con. It was the very first Oakland Comic Con. I had no idea what to expect, but I'm going to lay it all out for you and show you what it was all about and what I picked up. Let's go. Okay, so Oakland Comic Con. What was it like? What was it all about? What was I expecting? Those are the questions. Because with every con, there's a different question that has to be asked. Is this one that I would go back to again? Was it worth going to? Well, E-Man from E-Man's World of Geek and I both showed up at Oakland Comic Con. Now, we did previously do a video where the two of us reviewed San Francisco Fan Expo, and we're going to sit down later this week to do a live sit down and evaluate from two different perspectives the Oakland Comic Con on several different scales. So I'm not going to get too deep into it here, but I will say this. I was not sure what to expect. I wasn't expecting a huge megacon, and it wasn't. But it's always a question when you go to these, how much of it's going to be comic books and how much is it going to be pop culture or other things? Because there are a lot of quote unquote comic cons that go off around here that maybe have 3 comic book vendors and a bunch of toy vendors. There are some toy shows that have good comic book vendor selections, and then there are some just conventions that don't use the word comic book in them, and it's really a miss. Now, this one was Oakland Comic Con, so you would expect that comics would be forefront and of the focus. I'd been monitoring it going up through it, and the artist list was okay. There were some big artists, and unfortunately a couple of them pulled out beforehand, but there was still a good mix of artists that were there. But when I looked at the floor plan, it wasn't very big, and there wasn't a lot of vendors, and that had me concerned. And when I looked at the list of vendors, I didn't see very much in the way of comic book vendors listed. Now, I've since learned that part of that is that they asked each vendor to provide a picture and a synopsis of their booth in order to get listed there. And a lot of them didn't have that or didn't do it. And as a result, they didn't get listed in the list of vendors. And so when we got there, the group of vendors that was there was much bigger than that was perceived on the website. So that was a little bit of a downer, but an exciting change, as is evident by this stack of books I got there. I would say that the floor plan overall, 60% artists and artist alley, 40% vendor space. Vendors, a surprisingly high percentage comic book based. I'm going to show you this little video clip here. Let's take a look at it, and then we'll get into the hall itself. So that's the floor plan layout there. You see E-Man and I discussing a little few things, getting ready for our big sit down to evaluate this. Now, when E-Man and I sit down to do this, it's going to be a full-blown review of the con from an artist perspective, from a comic book vendor perspective, from a cosplay perspective, all a bunch of different areas, and we're going to rate the convention on the comic book rating scale. But let's get into this haul of books. Oh my goodness, it's a stack. As always, I go to the con looking for books for me, but invariably I find some books for you guys. And it's always easy to find certain books at a con. And there's no doubt about it. Look, it's a running joke in the giveaway box, and that's the Only Slabs giveaway box on Saturdays, where during my live stream we give away books to the community. Some of the books that we mix in there are big bangers, and some of them are just kind of fun. And X-Force #1 is a running joke kind of thing in there, in that, look, there's I don't know how many of these were printed. It has to be, like 5 million copies or something, because it seems like there's a bejesus zillion of them. And I don't know if I've ever seen one that's not still in the polybag. Did anybody ever read X-Force 1? Sound off down below. Let me know. Did you ever crack one of these open and read it? Or did you just, like everybody else, leave it in the polybag? Because that's all I ever find them, is in the polybag. And even then, they're still just $1. Usually. But so anyways, we got 4 copies of that that will ease our way into the giveaway bin over time, because I just always like to make sure there's 1 or 2 in the giveaway bin. This is a book I've never given away that I found. One of the vendors I've dealt with in the past, Mike, he had a bunch of stuff that was like 20 or 50% off. And so this was tagged at a price that I said, yeah, for 50% off, let's grab this newsstand edition copy of Marvel Tales, Peter Porker, the Spectacular Spider-Ham, the first appearance of Spider-Ham, Hulk, Bunny, Captain America, and Goose Rider. This is going to go into the giveaway bin. As is here Transformers #5. Everybody loves this cover. It seems, if you're a Transformers fan, we'll throw one of those into the giveaway bin. Now, these next books I started to grab for the giveaway bin, but I'm probably going to keep them. Why? I don't know. It's just a running joke. And that is Ravage 2099 #1. I picked up 4 copies of this book. Again, a book that it's easy to find. I think there's a ton of them. People... Look, either you're a 2099 person or you're not. I am. I pick them up. I hold on to them. I have lots of copies. I do give away some, but when I find them like this, these are like crispy, clean 9/8 candidates. And when I find 9/8 candidates, I hold them. And I probably have like 20 something copies that are raw, plus a bunch of graded copies. But it doesn't matter. Finding books for a run is always part of the fun at a con. You can go big game hunting, and I do. Don't get me wrong. First thing I do when I go to a comic book vendor is I look what's on their wall. A couple of reasons. First of all, I'm not a big fan of digging through dollar bin books and everything else, but I do I respect a well-organized bin. Every once in a while there are runs I'm collecting, and I will dig if I can readily find where they're at. If somebody's got boxes that are just crazy, I don't go digging. But first, when I get to the wall, I always want to see what big books does this person have? What do they think they are? And what prices are they asking? I can learn a lot from their wall really quick, because there are big books at prices that I know roughly what particular certain books that I see all the time, either between Only Slabs or going to different cons. I know these books, so I can equate, okay, this gentleman's price is in the general ballpark. Okay, let's go digging through his bins. His prices are probably fair. Oh my God, this guy's prices are through the roof. Okay, maybe his prices are okay in his bins. Maybe they're not. I don't know. I'm going to have to, maybe I don't want to spend a lot of time. So it just depends on what it is. And of course, who the vendor is, whether I know them or not. But I do like to dig through some especially at local cons, looking for stuff. And right now, one of the runs I've been working on, when I go to shows only, is Spectacular Spider-Man, picking up books to fill that. I've said for a long time after I worked on my Amazing Spider-Man run, Spectacular Spider-Man, Web of Spider-Man, those are runs that if you like Spider-Man, you should consider picking up. They're inexpensive right now in the grand scheme of things. Obviously, they don't have the same number of keys as Amazing does, but super affordable, fun reads. And here I found Spectacular Spider-Man issue number 2. And these were like all in really good condition. I love to pick these up. Good condition. Books that I need for the run. Spectacular Spider-Man number 4. Some great art on the Spectacular Spider-Man series. Here we go, issue number 25. Vault Full of Fear. What is this, issue 34? Lizards everywhere. Issue 41. So now most of these books, I think I got these also from Mike. Here's 47. These books, for the most part, ranged anywhere. I think they were all in the 50% off bin. It was a 50% all these books. And then they were tagged somewhere between $4 to $12 a piece, depending upon the book for the most part. So issue 57. Issue 68. And let's see here. Issue 97. And that's going to pick up the run there. That's what I picked up for Spectacular Spider-Man. Just focusing on right now, the first 100, then I'll work on the others. But every con I go to, I like to look to see if I can find a reasonable price copy of Shogun Warriors #1 in good condition. I did, and I will add this to the collection. Again, another book that I probably have like 30 freaking copies of, but I still continue to buy it. Why? I don't know. Giant freaking Japanese robot. I love it. I grew up on it. It makes me happy. That's why. Do you need any other reason than I like it? I love it. It makes me happy. It reminds me of my childhood. So I'm going to pick it up and own it. And if that means I own a whole box full of them, so be it. Collect what you love. Forget what other people tell you. Who cares? Somebody says, that's dumb. That book's never be worth anything. Who cares? I don't buy comics because I think they're going to be worth something. Now, every once in a while, maybe, but for the most part, I buy comics because I like them. There's something about them. I like the art on them. I like the stories. I like the character. They just remind me of something, and there's no wrong way to collect. Collect these raw books like this. These will all stay raw. Collect your slabbed books, graded books. That's fine too. You should do what you want, and that's the important thing here. Don't let people bully you into thinking you need to collect one way or another. Airboy. Bam. Dave Stevens. Again, a series I'm picking up the run on or slowly working on. I have a copy or two of this book, but you can't put down the Dave Stevens love. This is a book that blew up ridiculously like 3 or 4 years ago. For whatever reason, this book was selling like for $80 and stupid stuff like that. Now I can pick it back up again where it belongs in that like $6 range or whatever. And I'm happy to pick that up on occasion for that. Every once in a while, it's a little bit more, but issue I needed for Chamber of Chills. Actually, I think this might have been the last one I need to finish out the run of Chamber of Chills. So issue number 3. This is a beautiful cover. Look at a monster with tentacles coming in. The Thing on the Roof. Just a great cover. Marvel 70s horror completely undervalued. Everybody's talking about DC horror. I think that some of the Marvel stuff is some of my preferred stuff because I like monster horror as opposed to some of the other stuff, and that is what they're doing with a lot of that. Another book that I needed for my run on Captain America, a beautiful copy here of Captain America 225. There are a couple little minor spine ticks, but that is fine. These are readers, and I'm good with that. The Secret of Cap's Other Life, but just a beautiful cover. Love that. And oh, whew, Alien Worlds. Give myself some sci-fi. So it's obviously cold on that planet. And then check out this cover, Alien Worlds issue number 5. Wow. And then look at her face been eaten off or whatever. Interesting bubble helmet. I'm not sure how exactly that seals around her head with that outfit, but hey, that's sci-fi art, crazy stuff. Look at that, Alien Worlds. That's awesome. That's a run full of cool little um, covers. Now, another one of the books, a series I started picking up recently was Spidey Super Stories. And Spidey Super Stories is one that's difficult to find in a higher grade. I am looking for them primarily in that upper mid grade range or high grade if I can find them. It was a book done in conjunction between Marvel Comics and the Electric Company. The Electric Company was a here in the United States was a public television station or network, produced show for the Children's Television Network. It was emphasized in teaching reading, and in it they featured a segment with Spider-Man, a live action Spider-Man in it, and they put out a series of books called Spidey Super Stories, and they were written specifically for younger readers. So the language used, the size of the font, the amount of words per page, all these things were done specifically for younger readers. They're collectible for those of us that were old enough to remember them as kids, but they were well read, so finding them is tough. And there's a couple of them that are semi-valuable. It introduces things like the Thanos copter, and it introduces, the first issue, of course, is popular, but this issue is one of the more pricey issues, this Jaws homage. There we got the big shark coming up and Spider-Man swimming across the ocean, just like Jaws, the movie. This is issue 16. A very nice cover. And here we go. We've got then picked up issue 56. Captain Britain's caught. And then here we go with issue 55. Got Kingpin there. All right. So just 3 issues there, but happy to add some more to the collection. This was a book. Nizo, Punisher 2099. Found a newsstand version. I'm going to add that to the PC. Again, I think I only have one newsstand version of Punisher 2099, so I'm happy to grab that. Newsstands at this time, remember, this is 1992, 1993 range. Actually, this book was 93, I believe. And so 1993 newsstands, not very common. Jake Gallows, first appearance as the Punisher of 2099. Now, this book I picked up originally thinking this was a giveaway bin book, and it still may eventually become that, but for now I'm going to hold on to it because it's a newsstand variant, and I didn't realize what the newsstand variant, how much more it was valued at. This is Roger Rabbit #1, newsstand variant here. This is not his first appearance. His first appearance is in the movie adaptation comic, but it is the first in the ongoing series of Roger Rabbit here, more adventures, but the newsstand variant, very not very prominent and carries a significant value increase over the direct edition. All right. Now, last couple of books. These ones, I saw these at first. I was like, no way. And then I got explained what they are. And I still decided I needed to have them. So first, let me show them, and then I will explain. So this is, let's see, there's 212 to 13. Okay. This is Famous Funnies, featuring Frank Frazetta art and Buck Rogers on issues 212, 213, and 214. These are some of the most coveted Famous Funnies covers, the Frank Frazetta Buck Rogers covers. They're insane and run quite a bit. And I saw these in a buddy's, not a buddy's, but a gentleman that I have bought many things from in the past. And they were like $25 a piece. And I'm like, what? And he goes, these are photocopy facsimiles. And I'm like, oh, huh. So he primarily focuses his collection on unique things. Not necessarily, he's got run-of-the-mill comics, but he likes a lot of foreign versions of comics and different things that you don't see all the time. He's got a lot of underground books, a lot of Charlton books. He's got a lot of, the bootleg Spider-Man stuff from Mexico and stuff like that. And so he said that this is one of these things that he found at one point a while back. Somebody had made these bootleg facsimiles of Buck Rogers, Frank Frazetta things. Now, these are all photocopies, but they're extremely well done. So they're on the full, somebody disassembled the comic to make the copies. They're full spread layouts. The interiors are very well done. It's all done on a paper that is somewhat similar. So you get that paper feel to them. And it is just something that was like, oh, you know what? I know they're not valuable necessarily, right? And I don't care about that. But I know these books are so much. They're so ridiculous that I have several facsimiles for like a bunch of startling comic stuff. To see these in this golden age size and have them like this, I'm like, oh yeah, I'm going to pick these up because I like Buck Rogers. I'm not going to have these graded, obviously, but these are books that I will just keep just like this, and I can read them and I can enjoy them. And yeah, so I don't know. Let me know. Comment down below. Would you, if you were, let's say AF-15, Super, any book, would you consider spending money on a photocopy facsimile if it's a really, really well done one? And these are the staple quality, the print, the wraps. These are not like somebody just laid it on top of the Xerox copy and went. Somebody took some time and effort to make these right. Let me know. Am I out of my mind? I mean, I obviously didn't pay $25 a piece. I bought the set of them. I think I paid $60 for the set, so $20 a piece. It was worth it to me. I enjoyed it. All right, 2 more books left remaining here. Next one is another Golden Age book that's been on my radar for a while. And this one I am excited to have in the collection now. This is from Magazine Comics, Space Ace #5. Oddly enough, this is, again, the first issue in the comic. There is no 1, 2, 3, or 4. It's not uncommon. Golden Age Comics, the company would be printing something and then they'd change the title and keep the numbering of the predecessor thing for a couple reasons. One, you used to have to register with the post office a new title, and then that would cause you to have to pay new fees. And also sometimes people who were ordering the books, they didn't want to order new books. They didn't want #1s because people wouldn't know that, oh, I should buy that. Instead, #5 or somebody say, oh, that's an ongoing series. Let me pick that up. So a bunch of weird different things. Very different world it was then. But here we go. Space Ace #5. This is a book I've seen a bunch of times and really kind of been interested in. This is a very nice condition book. It was really interesting negotiating with the old gentleman that had this book. At one point, he was like saying like, "Oh, I don't know if I want to sell it because like I'm not going to have any good comics left. I got a show next week." I guess a bunch of vendors had gone and bought some good stuff from him earlier on. And I'm like, "Oh, did you bring it to display it or did you bring it to sell it?" And he agreed he'd brought it to sell it. So there we go. This is a beautiful book. This one's going to get cleaned and pressed, and that one's going to go off for grading. Last book. This is a book from my 2026 hit list. At the beginning of the year, I made a list. These are books I want to bring with, or I want to pick up this year. This one was on the list. Very fair price for the conditions. Probably going to come back about a 5.0 when I'm done with it. It's got some tanning, but this is All-Star Western issue number 10. This is the first appearance of Jonah Hex. So there we go. Add some Jonah Hex to the PC. I think this might be my very first Western comic in my collection of all things. Not a Western guy typically, but Jonah Hex. We got to add Jonah Hex to the collection. We're adding all these characters, these big first appearances and whatnot. You can't leave Jonah Hex out of there. And that's it. That is Oakland Comic Con haul and tour. Leave a comment down below. Let me know, what did you think about the con? And be sure to check out and subscribe. Hit the notification bell so you get that notification when E-Man and I go live to go in depth into the con itself. As always, make sure you collect what you want. Don't listen to me. I'm just a fat man with a fat stack of comics and a fat opinion. Thanks for watching.